Welcome everybody to the Caleb Kent podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Kent, vlogger, actor, and content creator here on YouTube. For those of you listening on Spotify, if you want to check out the YouTube channel, it's going to be Caleb Kent. It should be the first search result in case you have a hard time finding it, which you probably should because it's actually the first search result that I've had with a lot of people. But anyway, if you're still struggling to find it, then the YouTube handle is going to be at Caleb_the_Kent. And it's the same thing as my TikTok and Instagram username. And for those of you watching on YouTube right now, if you want to listen to this version on Spotify, then just look up the Caleb Kent podcast and you should see right there. The profile pic is the same as the YouTube channel. But anyway, let's get on with the topic of today's video, which is why no one asked is just rude. It's just rude. Now, with that being said, it's warranted sometimes. Like if someone's explaining details about something that we don't really need to know, like for example, like the fungi on your phone, you're saying that out loud to everybody, like, hey everybody, look at all this disgusting, you should hear about all these disgusting details about my toe. It's, look at all this fungi building up, and all that stuff like that. Yeah, then it's warranted. Or if, let's say, something's kind of being shoved down our throats. I know this would be kind of an extreme example, although this isn't really far off from the truth. Let's say Brad Pitt got a new haircut. But it's very subtle. But the mainstream media pushes it like there's no tomorrow, and we have to make everyone know. Like, look how cute this new hair is, and we're just like, bro, you're talking about this Brad Pitt's new haircut, but you're not talking about these other issues that actually affect us, and you can actually solve. Instead of spending your time talking about that and how we can improve our lives, you're just shoving down the message of Brad Pitt's new haircut that isn't that much different. I know this is an extreme example, but I think you get the picture. I think stuff like that is warranted, where to say no one asked, that's completely understandable. However, 99% of the time, or at least in my opinion, it's just rude. To me, it just sounds like it's a good excuse to be like, hey, I don't really give a damn about what you're talking about, and I'm just gonna shame you for it by saying, no one asked, or I didn't ask. And I have personal experience with this firsthand. During the first few years of high school, I was in drama. And I actually mentioned this in my last episode, but in high school, freshman year, I think it was especially freshman year, there was a bunch of time, there was this one classmate that he had a lot of pride in himself, and that was actually the last episode, but not the point. He had a lot of pride in himself. Everybody loved him, and I think it kind of got to his head. Or at least I think that's how it came off my head. I'm not going to say who he is. I'm not going to name names, but I think he had a lot of pride in himself, and he feel like he didn't care to not listen. I don't think he cared to listen to what others had to say sometimes, especially with me. I mean, I was definitely out there with my personality. Even for a theater kid, I was definitely out there, and I was very weird, which I kind of still am. I mean, have you watched my videos and the way I talk and the things I do? I am not normal, like how I'm talking right now. Okay, sorry, I'm annoying you, aren't I? Sorry. But anyway, so the point is, you know, I was very different. I was very out there, and sometimes I want to share stuff, even if it may not be stuff that people are rather interested in. I don't think he really cared, and instead he was like, I didn't ask. And this wasn't the one time. He said this more often than not, like whenever I shared something that like I just kind of wanted to share, or if, you know what I mean? Like whenever I just want to share stuff about my life, something that normal people do. I think normal people do that. I'm pretty sure normal people do that. I just want to share stuff, and instead of being like, oh, that's nice, he just like, I didn't ask. And it was just like so often, I was just like, okay. And at the time, I was 14 or 15 years old at the time. So it really made me think, wow, maybe this means I gotta really just shut up about these things. Because like, maybe no one gives a damn about what I say. And, you know, no one cares. Maybe I just should just stop with this stuff. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe there's something I can improve on. But now looking back at it and talking with people about it, I realized, no, I had every right to say what I wanted to say, and there wasn't anything wrong with it. The problem was this guy just didn't care for what he had over here. And instead of just ignoring it like a normal person, he was just, I didn't ask. And yeah, To me, it just sounds a lot like I don't care what you have to say, and I'm gonna make it a big deal by saying no one asked. And I know, because like this is often a witty saying, because you're basically telling people because it's a kind of saying where like when you after you say it, the other person doesn't really know what to say. It's kind of a saying that like after you say no one asked or I didn't ask, it kind of leaves you in this blank spot because there's nothing to answer after. It's kind of like in that video that Markiplier did, where it's just like Google in real life, and then Markiplier's like, shut up, I can't kill you if you keep talking, and then the guy in the skit's like, but why not? And then he has like this malfunction. It's kind of a response like that. Like, how do you respond after that? You know, like I think often it's used as a saying to be like, just to be like, bro, no one gives a flying f***. No one gives a flying f***. I think in some scenarios, it's totally okay to be like, bro, no one gives a flying f***. But in most scenarios where I think the society is starting to pick up and use it, I think it's becoming an excuse just to be rude and just dismiss something you don't want to hear. And I think that's completely wrong. Because as human beings, we like to share stuff that's going on with our lives, and we like to share things because, you know, we want to connect with people and be like, and maybe be like, hey, I like what you have to hear. That's nice to hear. Hey, can I share this about you? Oh yeah, that's fine. That's how we can engage and go on from there. But instead, people are just resorting to this. It's kind of, I feel like people are kind of resorting to this attitude of like, I only care about myself, so whatever I want to hear, that's all I want to hear. And if you say anything that has nothing to do with what I want to talk about, then you're irrelevant. Get out of here. And I think that's just completely wrong. Did people ask for the inventor of smartphones? Let me do a Google check real quickly. Did people ask Martin Cooper and Eric Tigerstedt? I think that's how you say it. Did people, anyway, those two people I just said, did people ask them to create the cell phones? No. But now we use it in everyday lives and we thank them for it. Or at least we all kind of thank them for it. Although there are a lot of people out there that argue that cell phones are destroying us, which to a certain degree they are, but I'm not here to cover that. That's for sociologists to talk about that. But the point is, it's something that we use in our daily lives and people enjoy it, and nobody asked to create them, but they did, and now we love it. So why should we have this attitude of, hey, no one asked in this society where we're trying to innovate new things? You know, like, just because you didn't ask for it doesn't mean it's irrelevant. So if you're saying, if with this logic saying no one asked, that means everything's irrelevant. And therefore we should just not innovate, not change, just stick with one way. And I'm just like, where is this society heading if we're just gonna keep doing this? If we're just gonna keep on saying this witty saying that like just irritates the crap out of me and everyone. Because I hate very few things in life. There's a lot of things I detest very strongly, but the saying, no one asked, I strongly hate that saying. And I will say it proudly. But what do I know? You didn't ask for me to make this podcast. You didn't ask for me to make this channel. You didn't ask me to make this episode. You didn't ask me to make this video. So what do I know? I'm Caleb Kent. Thank you for listening or watching. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to go check out some other videos that I have made, you're just one click on the channel icon away from doing so. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat, and they're listed right over. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share if you wish to do so. And if you are or will be a returning viewer, I will see you in the next video. Have an amazing day.